Okay, everybody, it's me, the New World Order. And anyway, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you that there's a difference between the truth and a lie. There's a difference between reality and what you think is reality. Reality is the facts. What you think is reality is what they tell you are the facts, or how they tell you how to interpret facts. How they interpret facts in the news and in the media is not the facts. The facts are what really happened and who really profits by it, and what are the real results of these actions. What are the consequences of these actions? Reality is unbendable. You cannot change reality. And when something occurs, there is always a reaction. There is, for every action, a reaction. And so you want to hear some truth? Lindsey Williams has been giving you the truth for 2 years, because everything that's come out of his mouth has come to pass in the last 2 years. Everything with minor exception. And he always says that God himself, only God himself, only divine intervention can keep the elite's plans from coming to pass. Because why? Because the elites have more power than any other force on earth, than any other group of men, than any other group of people, than any other organization on earth, than any other force or power. The elites, they're at the top. That's why we call them the elites. They're at the top of the food chain. They consider the rest of us cattle. They consider the rest of us useless eaters. Our lives are meaningless to them. They believe in the principles that they espouse, and they consider themselves the highest form of evolution, and they consider the rest of us to be but expendable. And so therefore, what Lindsey says about their plans, they don't play games. To them, it's their life, it's their death. They see it as serious business. The elites are very serious people. They have a very poor sense of humor. They derive pleasure out of seeing other people suffer, because they know that they are condemned creatures and that they too shall suffer for eternity. And therefore, the only goal that they have left, their only drive, their only motivation, is to see others suffer as they will one day. They want to take down as many as possible. I recently saw a movie called Megamind, and I thought, this is going to be another stupid Hollywood movie. They made the guy Megamind sound like he's half gay and effeminate, and that's a typical Hollywood line nowadays, is to make cartoon characters look and appear effeminate, because they hate masculinity, they hate the male, the straight, heterosexual, white Christian male is their enemy. So they want to do everything to discredit that image, and everything to make their effeminate image look good. So I didn't really want to watch it, but I watched it because there was nothing else to watch. Well, it's an interesting movie where the Megamind gets everything that he could possibly get. He's a super villain. And it reminded me so much of the elites. Megamind, the super villain, no one there to stop him. And then when he has everything, he has no reason for living, no purpose for living, he says. He's sad because there's no good to fight against. He's evil and no one to fight against him. And he has everything he can imagine. All the money and all the riches of the world, because no one could stop him. But it didn't make him happy. And you see, that's the heart of the wicked. The heart of the wicked, the Bible says, they have no rest. They cannot rest. So what Lindsey has been saying for 2 years is finally coming into view. And you know what? The elite, he said, will tell us what they're going to do before they do it. And there's been some news. You just have to look to see what's in the news, and you'll find out what's going to happen. And just as Lindsey says, the U.S. dollar is dying. He said it will be dead by the end of 2012. And I wonder sometimes if we're going to make it to the end of 2012 before the dollar dies. Because in the news the other day it said the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa all have agreed to, between themselves, not to use the dollar as their reserve currency, but they're using their own currencies for credit agreements between themselves. They came out and said that the current financial structure needs to be changed. They are saying that they do no longer want the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency. And they own 40% of United States debt. And they are no longer wanting to take on any more U.S. debt. And then Geithner said the other day, he said it several times. He said if we don't raise the debt ceiling, we're going to default on the debt. Lindsey said they're going to default on the currency. They're going to default. Lindsey said it months ago. He said it months ago. And now Geithner is saying it openly. And see, when it gets to the point where they can no longer hide what's going on, then they come out and say it, and they blame somebody besides themselves for what they've done. They always find a scapegoat for what they themselves have concocted. It's as David Icke, if he's discovered nothing else, he's discovered their program for how they work. They have problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, they see the reaction coming, and they bring up their own solution to it, which is just worse than the problem that they originally created. So here Geithner, the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States, is saying the United States is going to default on its debt if the Republicans don't raise the debt ceiling. And Obama the other day was heard to say in the news that the Republicans are going to turn America into a third world country. So here we have the President and the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States admitting what everybody in the United States who watches what's going on already knows, that we are a third world country, that we are broke, that we are bankrupt, and we're going to default on the debt. So who are they blaming? Everything that they've done for years, for decades, that they've been planning since they got the Federal Reserve, since the elites. You have to understand, the elites are not Americans. They are evil, Illuminati, Satanist, devil-worshipping, ungodly, anti-Christian, hate-filled people who just want to destroy in order that they may take, in order that they may have the power to destroy, in order that they may take more power so they can destroy more, so that they can kill more. You don't understand their nature. You've been led to believe that the people on top are going to take care of you. They're your daddy. They're Uncle Sam. You've been led to believe that they're actually working for your interests, and that the Democrats love you and the Republicans hate you, or the Republicans love you and the Democrats hate you. But that's not the case. The people behind the scenes control the Democrats, the Republicans, the banks, the media. They control your very lives. They control your education, what you see on the TV, what you hear, what you don't hear. And so unless you enlighten yourself and wake up to the reality of what's going on, you will never know what's coming before it's too late. And now they're telling you openly just exactly what Lindsey's been warning you about for 2 years. They're saying it openly, but they're blaming the Republicans for it. And they've been working at this goal for decades. Read the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. You see, there's a struggle between good and evil, light and dark, right and the evil, and you cannot sit in the middle without taking sides. You're on one side or the other. You're either on God's left hand side, you're the goats who will be cast into the eternal darkness, or you're the sheep on the right hand. God is your shepherd, your protector, your defender, and you are a child of God. So get on the right side and wake up, because they've been working this plan for decades and now it's come to fruition. And they themselves are warning you. So take heed to the warning and quit watching your stupid soap operas and all the other garbage that your mind is paying attention to. And warn your fellow human beings, and warn your fellow compatriots and Americans and friends and family what's coming.